Success is never free. Everything great in life has a price tag attached to it. And the people who rise are the ones willing to pay before the blessing shows up. Most people want the reward without the responsibility, the elevation without the effort, the spotlight without the sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. Life is a marketplace, and you only receive after you give. If you want success, you must be willing to give 8 things first. Long before the results ever appear, the first thing you must give is discipline. Desire alone doesn't create success. Emotions don't produce outcomes. Discipline is the bridge between your intention and your transformation. Every time you choose structure over comfort, you invest into the future version of yourself. Discipline hurts in the moment, but it heals your life in the long run. If you are not willing to give discipline, life will bill you with regret. The second thing you must give is focus. Clarity doesn't come to the distracted, it comes to the dedicated. Your life will always expand or shrink depending on what you choose to pay attention to. When you cut off distractions, you make room for direction. When you stop chasing everything, you finally start moving towards something. Focus is a gift you give to your future because whatever you water grows. The third thing you must give is time. Mastery is not microwaved, it is marinated. It requires hours of unseen effort, practice, repetition, and refinement. The world only sees the moment you shine, but they never see the years you sowed. If you want to get better, if you want to rise higher, if you want to play at the level you dream of, you must give time with patience instead of frustration. Time is not your enemy. Undisciplined use of time is. The fourth thing you must give is humility. Success demands that you become teachable. You cannot learn what you believe you already know. Ego is expensive. It costs you growth, relationships, and opportunities. Humility opens doors that pride keeps shut. When you are willing to learn, willing to listen, willing to admit you don't know everything, life begins to pour wisdom into you. The fifth thing you must give is service. Influence is a byproduct of impact, and impact is born from service. You cannot become valuable until you start adding value. The world rewards those who solve problems, not those who complain about them. When you serve people, when you bless people, when you lift people, they begin to trust you. And where there is trust, there is influence. The sixth thing you must give is sacrifice. Success always asks you, what are you willing to exchange for the life you say you want? You cannot hold on to your excuses and grab your destiny at the same time. Sacrifice may cost you comfort, old habits, laziness, limited thinkers, or temporary pleasures. But every time you say no to something small, you say yes to something bigger. The seventh thing you must give is perseverance. There will always be delays, setbacks, disappointments, and detours. But the people who win are the ones who refuse to quit. Perseverance means you keep walking even when the road gets lonely. It means you keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. The process tests you before it rewards you, and only those who endure long enough inherit the promise. And finally, the eighth thing you must give is belief. Not belief in the world, not belief in people, but belief in the potential God placed inside of you. If you don't believe in yourself, you will sabotage every opportunity. Belief is the fuel that turns the impossible into the inevitable. When you honor the gifts you've been given, when you step boldly into your calling, when you trust that there is greatness inside you, life begins to rise to meet your expectations. Success is never free. There is always a cost, but the cost is worth it. Pay the price early, pay it consistently, and pay it with faith. Because once you give what success demands, you begin to receive what success promises. You're not waiting on success. Success is waiting on you to give what it requires. Discipline is the down payment for every breakthrough you'll ever experience. You don't get progress because you want it, you get progress because you're willing to earn it. Discipline means you do what needs to be done even when your emotions are arguing with you. It means you honor your commitments more than your cravings. It means you choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack the willingness to consistently do the uncomfortable things that talent requires. Discipline is the difference between potential and performance. Everybody has potential, but only disciplined people convert it into results. Discipline is the quiet, daily decision to become the kind of person who deserves the life you're asking for. Progress begins the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. It begins when you stop telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I don't feel like it today. Feelings are seasonal, but discipline is eternal. Every disciplined action is a seed, and every seed eventually becomes a harvest. You don't see the harvest right away, but if you stay committed long enough, you will see the compound effect of every small, consistent choice. Discipline feels heavy in the beginning, but the weight of regret is far heavier. Discipline requires sacrifice, but it also produces freedom, the freedom that comes from knowing you are, building a life you won't have to run from. Discipline is not punishment. It is the highest form of self-respect. It is you telling your future, I'm investing in you, even when it's hard. If you want progress, give discipline first. Because progress never goes to the most gifted. It goes to the most consistent. Focus is the lens that turns chaos into direction. Most people are not confused because they lack clarity. They are confused because their attention is scattered across too many things that do not matter. When your mind is divided, your results will always be diluted. Focus is the act of choosing what deserves your energy and what no longer qualifies for access to your life. Clarity doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives when you are intentional about where you place your attention. When you stop multitasking your life and start prioritizing your purpose, things that once felt complicated suddenly become simple. Opportunities you couldn't see before begin to reveal themselves. Patterns become obvious, solutions become visible. Focus removes the fog. When you focus, you take your life off autopilot and put it back into your hands. You stop reacting to everything around you. You start responding to what's aligned with your future. Focus forces you to confront your distractions, whether they are people, habits, or environments. It makes you ask the hard question, does this move me closer to where I want to go, or does it keep me stuck where I've always been? The truth is, you can't pursue everything and expect clarity. You can't chase every opinion, every trend, every opportunity, and still expect to know your direction. You have to eliminate what's irrelevant to make room for what truly matters. Focus is pruning. It is the courage to cut off the unnecessary so you can grow in the direction of your calling. And when you give focus consistently, clarity becomes inevitable. Your path unfolds, your decisions get sharper, your actions become intentional instead of impulsive. Focus is the price you pay up front, and clarity is the reward you receive over time. If you want a life that makes sense, you must first choose a mind that stays centered. Mastery is never achieved in a moment. It is earned through countless hours that nobody sees. Time is the currency you must invest long before excellence ever shows up. You cannot rush greatness. You cannot shortcut skill, and you cannot microwave mastery. It requires patience, repetition, and an unshakable commitment to improvement, even when progress feels invisible. People admire the result, but rarely understand the hours behind it. They see the performance, but not the practice. They celebrate the success, but overlook the seasons of obscurity, where you kept showing up, kept learning, kept failing forward, and kept refining your craft. Mastery demands that you give time when it's boring, when it's inconvenient, and when it would be easier to quit. It asks you to stay long after excitement fades. Time is the teacher that never lies. It exposes whether you're serious or simply interested. If you give time with consistency, you grow. If you refuse to give time, you remain stuck at the level of potential instead of rising into the level of mastery. Every hour invested is a brick laid. Every effort repeated builds structure. Every day committed strengthens skill. Mastery is not for the impatient, it's for the devoted. It's for the person who understands that skill compounds the same way money does, slowly at first, then suddenly. You may not see the benefit immediately, but time never returns empty. It always pays you back. Sometimes in wisdom, sometimes in competence, sometimes in opportunities you didn't even know were waiting for you. When you give time, you show life that you're willing to grow into the person capable of carrying the success you want. Time turns amateurs into professionals, dreamers into doers, and ordinary individuals into extraordinary leaders. If you're willing to invest the hours, mastery will reward you in ways talent alone never could. Humility is the doorway through which wisdom enters your life. You cannot grow if you're too busy proving you already know everything. Wisdom doesn't flow to the proud, it flows to the teachable. Humility is not weakness. It is the strength to admit you have more to learn, more to understand, and more to become. It positions you to receive what arrogance would block. Most people miss out on wisdom not because opportunities weren't available, but because their ego stood in the way. Pride makes you defend your limitations. Pride makes you cling to old patterns. Pride convinces you that advice is an attack instead of a gift. But humility opens your mind, softens your heart, and makes you receptive to new insight. It allows correction to feel like protection instead of criticism. When you give humility, you become a student of life. Every conversation becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a teacher. Every experience becomes a source of revelation. Humility lets you recognize value even when it comes from unlikely places. Sometimes the wisdom you need is hidden in a person you underestimated or a moment you almost ignored. Humility also helps you grow faster because it frees you from the pressure of pretending. When you don't have to act like you have all the answers, you can finally learn the answers. When you stop performing perfection, you can start pursuing truth. Humility creates room for transformation because it acknowledges that you are still a work in progress, and that's a powerful place to be. Wisdom is expensive, but the price you pay isn't money. It's humility. You must be willing to be wrong, willing to be guided, willing to be taught. And when you offer humility, life rewards you with understanding, insight, discernment, and direction. If you want wisdom, give humility first. It's the foundation on which every great decision is built. Influence is never handed out freely. It is earned through service. People don't follow you because you speak well or look important. They follow you because you positively impact their lives. Service is the seed and influence is the harvest. The world rewards those who add value, solve problems, and make others feel seen, supported, and strengthened. Most people want to be influential, but few want to do the work that influence requires. Influence is not about position, it's about contribution. If you want people to trust you, you must show them that you care. If you want people to listen to you, you must demonstrate that you listen to them. If you want people to follow you, you must first walk beside them. Service is not beneath leadership. Service is the essence of leadership. When you serve others, you create emotional equity. You build credibility that no title can manufacture. You show people through your actions, not your words, that you are invested in their well-being. Influence grows in environments where people feel valued, not used. And the moment someone feels your service is sincere, they open their heart to your direction. Service also sharpens your character. It teaches you empathy, patience, responsibility, and perspective. It keeps you grounded and reminds you that greatness is not measured by how many people honor you, but by how many people you help rise. When you make service a lifestyle, influence becomes a natural outcome because people gravitate to those who uplift them. If you want a platform, build it by serving. If you want authority, earn it by contributing. If you want influence that lasts, rooted in genuine love for people. Give service first because influence is not something you demand, it's something others grant you when they trust the impact you've had on their lives. Breakthrough always asks for something before it gives something. Nothing in your life will change until you are willing to release what is holding you back. Sacrifice is the price tag attached to every major shift, every new level, every powerful transformation. You cannot stay the same and expect your life to rise. You cannot cling to comfort and expect doors to open. Breakthrough requires an exchange. Something old must die for something new to live. Most people want the reward without letting go of the routine that keeps them stuck. They want the advancement without adjusting their attitude. They want the opportunity without surrendering the excuses. But life doesn't honor that. Sacrifice is the signal that tells the universe you are serious about growth. When you give up something lesser, you create room for something greater. Sacrifice often shows up in hard, uncomfortable forms. It may require letting go of a relationship that drains you. It may demand that you replace old habits with new disciplines. It may ask you to sacrifice sleep for a season so you can build the foundation of your future. It may require that you walk away from the familiar so you can step into the destined. Every great story of transformation is always a story of sacrifice. Breakthrough doesn't come to the person who wishes. It comes to the person who is willing to endure discomfort, willing to release distractions, willing to say no to temporary pleasures in order to say yes to long-term purpose. Sacrifice hurts, but it hurts in a way that heals you. It prunes you so you can grow. It prepares you so you can rise. And the moment you sacrifice what no longer serves you, something powerful begins to shift. Doors open, opportunities appear, strength increases, vision sharpens, momentum builds. Breakthrough responds to the person who shows they are ready by what they are willing to give up. If you want the breakthrough, you must be willing to sacrifice first. It is the exchange that turns limitation into liberation, potential into progress, and dreams into reality. Sacrifice is not loss, it is the investment that makes your breakthrough possible. Success never arrives by accident, and it never comes without a cost. Every step toward greatness demands something from you before it rewards you. You must give discipline before progress, focus before clarity, time before mastery, humility before wisdom, service before influence, sacrifice before breakthrough, perseverance before results, and belief before anything becomes possible. These are not optional, they are essential. They are the currency you pay to step into the life you were created for. When you understand that success is a series of intentional exchanges, you stop waiting for life to change and start becoming the person who changes it. You stop chasing shortcuts and start embracing the process. You stop hoping for miracles and start positioning yourself for them. Every gift you give, your effort, your patience, your character, your commitment, comes back multiplied. You are not being denied, you are being developed, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. Everything you give now is building the strength you'll need to carry the blessing that's coming. So stay committed, stay obedient to the process, and stay willing to pay the price. Because on the other side of what you give is the life you've been praying for. Success is not free, but it is worth everything you invest.